ladies and gentlemen, and dear aspirants of GATE or ASE, I stand before you today to discuss the solutions of GATE 2021 mechanical paper, and precisely whichever the question was asked on a production engineering, we'll try to discuss the solution of the same. So I welcome you all, welcome aboard. So right now we'll discuss whichever the question was asked in a forenoon session. Let's say that the first question was asked, the XY table of NC machine tool is to move from point 11, that is P, to the point Q 51,1, and all the coordinates are in mm. That means dimensions which are given of the point P and the Q are in mm. The pitch of the NC drive lead screw is a 1 millimeter. If the backlash between the lead screw and the nut is 1.8 degree, then the total backlash of the table on moving from point P to Q is mm and rounded up to the 2 decimal places. Which means that whatever the data is given in that particular thing, that question paper we have to write down. Let's say that, sir, if I say that there is a point P whose coordinate is 1, 1, and from this point P 1, 1, we are moving to the point Q whose coordinate is 51, 1. So we are moving in the reality with the help of NC machine, with the help of that work table from this point to this point. And we know that whenever we talk about NC machine, the NC machine has a basic structure. What is that? This is the block diagram of the NC machine, roughly. We know that this is what exactly motor is. The motor shaft is connected to the lead screw shaft. The lead screw has external threads. That external threads are engaged with the internal threads of the nut. The nut is attached to the work table, and when this motor shaft and the lead screw shaft start rotating, that rotational motion of the lead screw while meshing with the nut are converting into the linear motion of the work table, and the work table will start move. So it was given that the work table should move from the point P to point Q, and the coordinates are given. So if I ask you the question, how much is the actual distance that we want to travel? So I'll say that this is what exactly a X and Y bench. This is, let's say that this is the X axis, this is the Y axis. There are 2 coordinate points, one is P and the second is Q. So I'll say that P, the coordinate of P is 1, 1, whereas the coordinate Q is exactly equal to 51, 1. So this is what exactly coordinates are. That means we are moving from here to here. So can I say that in the reality, how much distance we are traveling? We are just traveling, how much distance? A 50 millimeter distance we have to travel. Who we have to travel? That means what? The work table need to travel 50 millimeter distance. The value was given in the problem that whatever the lead screw is there, can I say that that lead screw has the pitch exactly equal to 1 millimeter? How much is pitch? Pitch is exactly equal to 1 millimeter. That means, can I say that when my lead screw rotate by 1 revolution, completely 360 degree, my work table will travel by 1 millimeter. But in the reality, how much distance we have to travel? 50 millimeter distance. So therefore, I'll ask the question simply, a rotation of whom? Who is rotating? A lead screw is rotating. So I'll say that rotation of a lead screw. Rotation of what? A lead screw. Rotation of lead screw. And I'll say that distance. This is what exactly I'll say that distance. And who is traveling a distance? Work table is traveling a distance. So I'll say that this is my work table is traveling certain distance. So if my lead rotated by 1 rotation, 1 complete rotation, work table will travel a distance of 1 millimeter. Now in the reality, we have to travel 50 millimeter distance. For that 50 millimeter distance, how many number of rotations are required? How many number of rotations are required for that? So therefore, I'll say that number of rotations required. Number of rotations required is exactly equal to how much it is? It is coming of 50 number of rotations required. How much it is? It is coming exactly equal to a 50 mm or 50 number of rotations are required. Which means that whenever this lead screw is rotating by 50 number of times, my work table will travel exactly 50 millimeter distance. So, but it was observed that whenever my lead screw is rotating, that rotational motion of the lead screw will convert it to a linear motion of that work table through that particular nut. The external threads of the lead screw are engaged with the internal threads of nut. But it was given that there is a backlash of 1.8 degrees moving, or 1.8 degrees given there. And the backlash stands for, if you see that there is a gap present between the external thread of a nut and the external thread of lead screw and internal thread of that particular nut. So if the gap is present, what happens? Even when this lead screw rotated by one complete rotation, that is 360 degree, but the entire rotation of that particular lead screw does not convert it entirely into translation of this particular nut or a work table, because the gap is present between them. And this is nothing but called as, because of the gap, actual distance that is going to be traveled by that work table, instead of 1 millimeter in one rotation, it will be less than that. And it was given that as you can see that exactly gap is present, and whenever that lead screw start rotating, 1.8 degree is the rotation where the lead screw rotates, but that rotation does not get converted into linear motion of that particular work table or that particular nut. And therefore it was given that, sir, 1.8 degree is the backlash between lead screw and the nut for one rotation. Now you calculate the total backlash, and that total backlash we are interested to calculate in millimeter. We are not interested to calculate in degree. So if I say that in one rotation, a backlash is 1.8 degree. Now I required 50 number of rotations. For that 50 rotations, how much degree of backlash is coming? First of all, we'll calculate that. Therefore, I'll write down here, what is that? Rotation or degree, or I'll say that rotation simply, not degree. I'll say that here, rotation, and I'll say that backlash, that is also to be in degrees. So I'll say that in one rotation, how much is the backlash in degrees? 1.8 degrees of backlash. Now, how many total number of rotations are required? I required 50 number of rotations. So how much is the backlash? I'll say that x degree. Let's say that how much is the backlash in that particular degrees, total backlash in degrees, and therefore I'll say that a total backlash in degrees. Total backlash, you consider that this is total backlash in degrees is exactly equal to a 50 multiplied by 1.8 degree. 50 multiplied by 1.8 degree, it will come exactly equal to 90 degree. How much it is coming? It is coming exactly equal to 90 degree. So this is what exactly I would say, that 90 degree is the total backlash. But this is in degrees. We are interested to calculate in a millimeter. So I'll simply say that in a simplest manner, I'll say that a rotation. So I'll say here a rotation, and here it will be a distance. In a simplest manner, I'll say that, sir, whenever this lead screw rotated by 50 number of times, it is expected that all the rotation has to be converted to the linear motion of this work table. But out of that 50 rotations, can I say that because of backlash, this 90 degree rotation is not converted into that linear motion. So as 90 degree rotation is not converted into a linear movement of work table, that much is the distance which is created as a backlash. So I know that, sir, if rotation is 360 degree, rotation is what? 360 degree. That is what? One rotation. In that one rotation, the work table is going to travel a distance of 1 millimeter. That is exactly equal to pitch. But now, how much is the backlash? 90 degree backlash is coming. So that many distance or that much distance, it is going to create a backlash. So I'll say that this is exactly equal to a backlash. This is exactly equal. This is a simple question, but I'm explaining in a detailed manner. So you can able to calculate this in a simplest logic. So I'll say that backlash distance is exactly equal to how much it is coming? A 360 degree, or it is coming 90 degree divided by 360 degree, which is coming exactly equal to 0.25 millimeter, 0.25, and multiply by 1 millimeter is there. So I'll say that, sir, this is what exactly actual distance is coming as a backlash. This is what actual distance is coming as a backlash. So, answer is 0.25 millimeter. So, if I go and put it here, so I'll say that sir, it is 0.25 millimeter is a total backlash is coming as far as this question is concerned. Let's move to the next question now. Let's move to the next question. Very interesting question was asked, very simple also. An orthogonal cutting operation is performed using a single point cutting tool with a rec angle of a 12 degree on the lathe machine. So, the value of orthogonal rec angle is given. So, I will say that alpha 0 is exactly equal to 12 degree. During turning, the cutting force and the friction force are, remember that cutting force is given, thrust force is not given. Which one is given? Friction force is given. So, I will say that cutting force we used to represent Fc is exactly equal to 1000 Newton. Whereas a friction force is given which is exactly equal to 600 Newton. So, I will say that friction force F is exactly equal to a 600 Newton, 600 Newton. The chip thickness and the uncut chip thickness during the turning are, directly values are given. So, chip thickness I will say that Tc which is exactly equal to 1.5 millimeter and original thickness of chip or uncut chip thickness T naught is exactly equal to 0.75 millimeter, 75 millimeter. Then the shear force is in bracket Newton and it was given rounded up to a 2 decimal places. So, we are interested to calculate shear force. So, when I say shear force, can I say that Fs value, it is a force in a Newton, we have to calculate shear force, we have to calculate. We know that for calculation of shear force, you can take a help of a Merchant's equation, Merchant relation. That is what exactly best possible way to calculate it. But I also told you that while teaching that whenever such data is given, it is very important that some modified formulas can be utilized for calculation the answer. We will do one thing, that we will try to segregate the data. Sir, when I looked at that Tc and T naught is given, that means chip thickness ratio easily we can be able to calculate from here. What we can able to calculate? So, I will say that sir, easily we can be able to calculate chip thickness ratio. So, R is exactly equal to chip thickness ratio, it is exactly equal to the T naught divided by Tc, uncut chip thickness divided by thickness of the chip, and which is exactly equal to chip thickness ratio, uncut chip thickness T naught value is given 0.75, 0.75 divided by 1.5. So, therefore, answer is coming 0.5. It is the ratio. It is a ratio. Therefore, I will say that sir, this is what exactly a chip thickness ratio is coming. I will say that this is first answer we calculated. First answer we calculate, chip thickness ratio is this much. Now, sir, you do one thing, that now you go to the Merchant circle diagram, and when I go to the Merchant circle diagram, I will say that sir, this is what exactly, you all know that sir, this is what exactly a friction force F normal to that normal force. This is the shear force normal to that normal force, normal to shear, friction force or cutting force Fc, thrust force Ft. So, by that relation, we are interested to calculate what? Shear force Fs. We are interested to calculate what? Shear force Fs. So, can I say that from here, I can say that, I can say to one relation, shear force Fs is exactly equal to Fc into cos of phi plus beta minus alpha 0, phi plus beta minus alpha 0 divided by cos of, divided by, we will say that divided by a cos of beta minus alpha 0. This is what exactly one way. Multiple ways are there. Out of the multiple ways, we are discussing one way to calculate it. So, this is what exactly formula is for me. What is it? Sir, this is what exactly shear force is. Fc is equal to, or Fc into cos of phi plus beta minus alpha 0 divided by cos of beta minus alpha 0. So, we set a relation between shear force and the cutting force. Why? Because shear force we are interested to calculate and Fc cutting force is directly given in the problem. So, if I discuss all this particular problem, so I will say that sir, for calculation Fc is given. So, this given data, phi, beta and alpha 0 I required now. Out of that, rec angle is also given, alpha 0 is also given. So, now there are two values we are interested to calculate, one is phi and one is beta. If I am able to calculate phi as well as beta, my work is done. Now, sir, phi, do I have any equation for calculation of phi? Yes, sir, I do have equation to calculation of phi. So, I will say that sir, tan phi. Do you remember the equation? Yes, sir, tan of phi is exactly equal to R into cos of alpha 0, R into cos of alpha 0 divided by 1 minus 1 minus r into a sine of alpha 0. Now my task is that put the value there. Okay, absolutely correct. So I'll say that tan of phi is exactly equal to r, chip thickness ratio is 0.5 into a cos of alpha 0, which is a 12 degree. Cos of alpha 0 is what? A 12 degree divided by 1 minus r, that r is 0.5 into again sine of alpha 0, that is 12 degree. And if we calculate this, I guess so, we will get one answer that is exactly equal to phi. Shear plane angle phi by the given value is calculated, and the answer is coming 28.178 degree. 28.178 degree. 28.178 degree. So this is what exactly is done. This is done. This is done. So I'll say that, sir, this value is calculated now. This value is calculated. Now what is left over? Now the left over is only the value of beta. And whenever we are interested to calculate beta value from Merchant circle diagram again, can I say that tan of beta is exactly equal to F by N, friction force divided by normal force is exactly equal to tan of beta. From where? From Merchant circle diagram. From this triangle you can find out that. Right, fine. Now sir, we have friction force already given in the problem. We are interested to calculate beta, but normal force is not given. So now we are interested to calculate normal force from this particular given data. So I'll say that simply normal force can be calculated. So normal force N we are interested to calculate. Normal force N we are interested to calculate. And while discussing all this particular drama and problems, when we discuss metal cutting, an analysis of metal cutting, in that time we have discussed that in addition to Merchant's analysis, there are simplified and some modified equations are also important. And sometimes without that equations, it's become impossible to solve a simple questions. This is one of the example. So I'll say that equation is in a simple manner, cutting force Fc in terms of friction force F and normal force N. So Fc is exactly equal to N into cos of alpha 0 plus F into sine of alpha 0. This is what exactly equation, and this equation is already proved while we discussed. Right? Is it accepted, everybody? N into cos of alpha 0 plus F into sine of alpha 0. Fc cutting force given, friction force given, alpha 0 rectangle is given. Your task is to calculate N value. Okay, fine. So Fc cutting force. How much is cutting force Fc? If I am not wrong, the value is 1000 Newton is exactly equal to N into cos of 12 degrees, because alpha 0 is given. F friction force is a 600 Newton into a sine of 12 degree into sine of what? 12 degree. These are exactly values are, and from here if you calculate, N value is coming exactly equal to 894.80 Newton. 894.80 Newton. This is what exactly value is calculated. And if I calculate this value, I'll say that, sir, half the work is already done now. Sir, this is the formula. What is that? Tan beta is equal to F by N. Friction force F is given. Normal force N just now we calculated. So from here, I'll say that, sir, tan of beta is exactly equal to F friction force given in the problem, that is 600 Newton divided by normal force, just we calculated 894.80, 894.80, and from here you can calculate beta. So beta once you calculate is coming 33.843, 33.843 degree. This is what exactly answer we calculated. Oh my good lord. Now all the values are being calculated. What is that, sir? Phi is calculated, beta calculated, alpha 0 given, Fc, sir, cutting force, which is also given. So you put the value there, and if all the values if you put there, the shear force Fs after calculation is coming 692.20 Newton, 692.20 Newton, and there is a huge range is given and it is exactly falling into that range. So this is what exactly answer calculate my shear force in the Newton. Calculate my shear force in the Newton, 692.20 Newton. Now there are number of ways are available by which we can solve that. Whichever the way I find is easy and we have discussed in the class, based on that we have molded that particular question and you can be able to calculate that, as simple as that, right? Fine. Now let's move on. One simple question was asked there. Now it is extremely simple question was asked. It is just a common sense and we already discussed that. The correct sequence of matching operations or machining operation, correct sequence of machining operations to be performed to finish a large diameter through hole. So there are three operations are given. One is drilling, second is reaming and the boring. So what is exactly a sequence is in which we actually do perform these operations to get the finished hole of large diameter. Sir, we need to understand the meaning of drilling, boring and reaming, and we all know that, sir, drilling is the operation which is utilized to create a hole from the scratch. Initial hole can be created into the body. So this is what exactly drilling operation is. And we know that there are a lot of vibrations are coming and the large volume of material removal takes place in the drilling. So therefore, exact finished dimension or exact finished dimension holes can't be able to manufacture. So when we are interested to manufacture exactly a finished hole, the first step of that is you do a drilling operation. By that, roughly a little bit of dimension of hole we calculate or manufacture, and once that hole is created, then we perform the boring operation, which is nothing but enlarging the already existing hole. Whichever the hole is already existing, which is already being drilled by drilling operation, that diameter of the hole gets enlarged by the boring operation. But the last operation that we perform after that is what? Reaming. Reaming is the operation performed to get the exact final finished dimension to the hole, which is being performed on the hole which is already drilled or bore. So can I say that first operation is coming drilling, after that we perform boring, after that we do a reaming operation, and material removal takes place in the reaming is extremely small volume of material removal takes place, and that's why reaming is basically a finishing operation done on the hole whenever we are interested to manufacture that. So my sequence is drilling, then I do boring and then I do reaming, that's it. So I'll say that's a drilling, drilling, boring and the reaming. First we drill, then we bore and then a ream. That's simple question. Fine. Next. Backlash was the darling, I think so, at this particular GATE examination, an advanced machining method. What is it? In a modern CNC machine tools, the backlash has been eliminated by. We already discussed that backlash is nothing but actually a play or a gap present between the external threads of the lead screw and the internal threads of the nut. Because of that play, there is a distortion in dimension or actual transmission in the energy or that particular value that we get. That is called as backlash. And because of that gap, actually lead screw rotated by one rotation, but that entire one rotation could not able to get converted into exact dimension translated, or translation dimension is exactly not get converted because of that backlash. Now he is asking us that whatever the backlash is has been eliminated by, and we all know that, sir, backlash is basically this ratchet and pinion. This is the mechanism, it cannot be utilized. The slider crank mechanism, a rack and pinion, these are mechanisms. And from that mechanism, generally we don't use that for removing that backlash. A simple answer itself, option itself is giving the huge response to you, and the indication is that, sir, this is preloaded ball screws are utilized. Preloaded ball screws are utilized to eliminate this backlash. So what happens? These preloaded ball screws are basically going into what? The gap present of that particular lead screw, and therefore as there is no gap actually present, and these ball screws are recirculating, preloaded, and therefore that backlash errors can be eliminated very easily. And that itself, the options are giving me hint that it should be a preloaded ball screws are utilized to eliminate that backlash which is present. Yes, fine. Now next question. Beautiful question. Beautiful question was asked. It is just the fundamental common sense, and if I am not wrong, all the people and the students who are reading and understanding here right now watching this video will going to correlate that. Number of times we have discussed the concept of directrix and generatrix. Let's see that. In the machining operation, if cutting tool traces the workpiece such that because we know that there has to be relative motion between tool and the workpiece during a cutting or machining operation. So the cutting tool traces the workpiece such that the directrix is perpendicular to the plane of the generatrix as shown in the figure. Directrix is perpendicular to the plane of the paper, plane of the generatrix as shown in the figure. Sir, it is given that this is what exactly generatrix is, and directrix is perpendicular. It was given directrix perpendicular to this is the plane of generatrix, which means that generatrix, this is generatrix, this is one plane, this is generatrix, and that whatever the directrix is, it is perpendicular to this plane. Which type of surface will manufactured after machining of this? Now let's go back to the history and just remember that. Just go and recall your history. We have discussed that in a simple manner. What is generatrix and what is directrix? Sir, a generatrix is the movement that generates the cross section of the cut surface during any machining operation. Because during any machining operation, when the tool is in contact with the workpiece, there is a forces are involved. These forces are responsible for removal of unwanted material, and there is a certain cross-sectional area of the cut is getting developed. So therefore, it is given generatrix is the movement which develops the cut surface or cross-section of the cut surface. For example, in the turning operation, let's say that this is what exactly my tool is, single point cutting tool, principal cutting edge, auxiliary cutting edge, right? This is the top view. This is the cylindrical workpiece, it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and now my tool is just engaged here. Whenever in this example, whenever I am engaging the tool here, when the workpiece is rotating, can I say that this is what exactly a cross section of the cut surface it will generate? And even when the workpiece is rotating like that, even when I say that tool is being stationary, can I say along the periphery in a circular direction, the periphery, my tool is being moving across that workpiece. That is, it generates, that movement is generating the cross section of a cut surface. This is the cross section of cut surface it generates, and therefore this is my generatrix. It is like a one plane. It is like a one plane. It is a one plane. Now, if I say that if my tool is not moving in any direction, if my tool is there itself, will there be any chance of removal of volumetric removal of material? No, sir. Volume has 3 dimensions. But whereas this cross section has only 2 dimensions, it is the area, millimeter square, cross section of cut surface. But to remove the chip like that, if I am interested to remove the chip like that, can I say that this is what exactly my chip is going to get removed? This is what exactly my tool has to move in this direction. This is the direction in which my tool has to travel. Then only there will be a turning operation will take place. And the movement, the directrix is the movement which directs that cut surface so that volumetric removal will take place. That is called as directrix. So directrix is the movement which directs the cross section of cut surface for a volumetric removal. So that's why it is called as directrix. It is directing. It is what? Directing. And therefore, sir, when I am removing here, this is the chip is going to get manufactured. So this is the direction of directrix. This is the generatrix. You tell me that which surface is going to get manufactured. Sir, by naked eye, even if I remove my spec, I can say that. Without spec, with spec, whatever it may be, I can say that cylindrical surface is going to get manufactured. And therefore, answer to this is what? Cylindrical surface is going to get manufactured. And one more example, I told you already that, right? When the generatrix and directrix are linear, generatrix is linear, directrix is linear. For example, shaping and planing, what will generate and what will manufacture? Plane surface is going to manufacture. Second example, when the generatrix is circular and the directrix is linear, cylindrical surface is going to get manufactured and so on. And that is what basic concept that we are discussed, that was asked. I don't require to read extra. It is just basic common sense and basic fundamental understanding. I hope so. Everybody must have attempted it in a spot exactly and spot on manner. Right, fine. So LED cylindrical surface will get manufactured in this case. Fine. Now this is what exactly question, and a lot of dilemma might be there in the heart of the student also and everywhere. Let's begin with that. A 200 millimeter wide plate having a thickness of 20 millimeter is fed through a rolling mill with the 2 rolls. The radius of each roll is 300 millimeter. The plate thickness is to be reduced to 18 millimeter in a one pass using a roll speed of 50 rpm. So whichever data is given, let's freeze that data. 200 millimeter wide, so width of the plate is exactly equal to, what is it? So I'll say that width of the plate is exactly equal to 200 millimeter. This is width. it is reduced, the plate thickness is reduced from 20 to 18 millimeter. So I'll say that H naught is exactly equal to 20, it is 20 millimeter, and I'll say that H1 is exactly equal to 18 millimeter. And whichever the rollers that we utilize, that roller has a radius of 300 millimeter. So I'll say that roller radius R is exactly equal to 300 millimeter. 300 millimeter is a roller radius. It rotates by the RPM 50. It has to be rotated by RPM 50. RPM stands for N. We are utilizing a 50 RPM. RPM stands for revolution per minute. The strength coefficient K of the work material flow curve is 300 MPa. My dear friends, a strength coefficient is given. It is not a yield stress given to the body or yield stress given to the students. No, it is a strength coefficient. We know that strain hardening equation, the power law equation, the behavior of the body, how the material behaves during the plastic deformation, and that plane strain or that particular the values of that particular equation, which is nothing but called as which one? The power law equation or strain hardening equation. What is that? Sigma is equal to K into epsilon raised to N, K into epsilon raised to N, and where this sigma stands for, K stands for a strength coefficient. What is that? A strength coefficient which is value is given. How much it is given? That strength coefficient is 300 MPa. 300 MPa. This value is given 300 megapascal, and small n value. What is it? It is given that coefficient, and the strain hardening exponent value is given 0.2. Strain hardening exponent value is given 0.2. These are the $1 million things are given in the problem. And now he has given that the friction generated mu, I'll say that is exactly equal to 0.1. Friction is 0.1. Okay. If the friction is sufficient to permit the rolling operation, then the roll force will be, and that is to be kilonewton and rounded up to the nearest decimal points, nearest integer. Okay, fine. So which means that how much is the rolling force required during this operation, it was asked. Now the first thing is coming to my mind whenever we go to the number of reference book, whether it is a Kalpak Jain or Kalpak Jain that is being written by or it is having a publication of Pearson, or if you go to the Springer book, the one book is there by Amit Bhaduria. It's a Springer written book. It's a very excellent book. You find out that number of statements are there. So it has been observed that as the friction value is given 0.1, which means that it is very less value as far as rolling operation is concerned, which means that this is a cold rolling operation. And if it could have been a hot rolling operation, the value of a friction must be greater than 0.2, because we know that the sticking friction increases there, because material easily can get stick to the surface, and because of that friction increases. So that could be a hot rolling operation. But now as it is cold rolling and the friction value is given 0.1, we do believe that the friction must be considered while calculation of the force required during the rolling operation. And if the examiner wants us to neglect that friction value, he must have been written that the friction less or neglecting friction, calculate the value of what? The rolling force required during this operation. That's what exactly statement should have been. But as he has given that 0.1 coefficient of friction is given, which is just sufficient to drag that particular strip into the rolling operation, calculate rolling force, which means that value of friction should be considered. Value of friction should be considered. And we know that rolling is a process. Rolling is a process. You know that, sir. What is that? This is the diagram of rolling. I know that in the rolling operation, we assume that during the analysis, what is that? Whatever the reduction takes place in the thickness is compensated by increasing the length. Material spreads along the length direction, but width of the material remains constant. Spreading is assumed to be negligible. That is, the width before and width after remain constant, which means that there is only one plane where the plastic deformation takes place. This is only one plane. What is that? This is the XY plane. In the XY plane, X axis denotes my length and the Y axis denotes my thickness, which means that the deformation takes place in a plane strain condition. So plane strain analysis should be considered. And therefore, we all know that if I am interested to calculate the rolling force, that is F average. So I'll say that F average, typical formula, is exactly equal to Y bar F average flow stress, or I should say that it should be multiplied by 2 by root 3 into Y bar F into width into length into 1 plus mu L 1 plus mu L divided by 2 into H average, 2 into H average. This is I am following from Kalpak Jain. This is we are following from Kalpak Jain. If you go to the Amit Baduria and the different books, I would say that sir, different analysis data and approximation is there. You have to accept it. But if now we have to do a one thing that we have to challenge this question. So we are taking one standard reference, goes Pearson publication, Kalpak Jain. So this is formula. Y bar F, average flow stress. Can you able to calculate average flow stress? Yes, sir. So Y bar F exactly equal to K into epsilon raised to N, K into epsilon raised to N divided by N plus 1. Now, sir, K value is given strength coefficient and strain hardening exponent small n value epsilon, that is true strain in the rolling operation when the strip is compressed from 20 to 18, 20 to 18. I know that, sir, strain is exactly equal to, how to calculate strain? Strain is exactly equal to ln H naught by H1 original divided by final, which is nothing but ln original value is 20 divided by H1 is 18, and therefore I'll say that epsilon value true strain is coming. How much value of true strain is coming? So I'll say that sir, true strain value epsilon is coming exactly equal to 0.105, 0.105. This is nothing but my value of a true strain. Now you put the value there. So K value we can put exactly equal to, how much is K? So I'll put K value exactly equal to 300. I put epsilon which is 0.105 and I'll put N exactly equal to, how much is N? Sir, this is K value, that is 300 and N is 0.2. So I'll put here 0.2, 0.2 will put it there. I'll put respective values there and then I'll get Y bar F. If we cautiously calculate this Y bar F, average flow stress, and that value of average flow stress is coming exactly equal to, let me check it, 159.4, 159.4 MPa megapascal Newton per millimeter square, Newton per millimeter square, Newton per millimeter square, right? Fine. Now, sir, whatever values that we have to put into master formula. What is that? This is the master formula in which we have to put that. Y bar F is there, W width L, L stands for length of deformation zone. But I know that, sir, length of deformation zone L, what is L stands for? Sir, we know that L is exactly equal to square root of R into delta H. Do you remember? Yes, sir, it is in a blood, it is in the heart of everybody, right? So L is exactly equal to, L is exactly root of R, R is what? 300. Delta H stands for 20 minus 18, 20 minus 18, 20 minus 18. So this is what exactly L value is there. Go and calculate L value, and L value if we calculate honestly, 24 point, honest is important there, 24.494 millimeter, 494 millimeter. So we got it. Okay. So I'll say that this is what exactly answer is, 24.494 millimeter. Now, sir, rest of the task is whichever the formula you have written, you put the value there, F average, or sorry, H average. What is H average? Sir, H average is exactly equal to original thickness plus final thickness H1 divided by 2, that is coming exactly equal to 19 millimeter, because original is 20, H1 is 18, average of that is 19. So you put there is 19, right? Mu value friction is given 0.1. L stands for length of deformation zone, that is what approximation length. We have just calculated there, L 24.494. And sir, you know that, sir, projected area stands for that B, that is width, W, we can say that this is W, and length of deformation zone. So therefore, if I put all the values there here, that is F average 2 by root 3, Y bar F calculated, width is exactly equal to what? So I'll say that width is 200, length is calculated 24.49 something, friction is mu L 2 into F average and Y bar F. If you put all this value, and if I calculate, so we'll get the value Y, sorry, not the average rolling force. So I'll simply say that, we can simply say that what answer is coming. So we would say that simply F average is coming, or you can say that rolling force is coming. 955.71 kilonewton. 955.71 kilonewton. This is what exactly answer is coming. But now whatever the key is given by the IIT Bombay, it was given in the range of, what is the range is given? What is the range is given? The range is given exactly equal to 775 Newton to 785 Newton. And our answer is exactly out of this particular bucket. Now, if I solve this numerical by one more way, if I consider that this is also exactly number of statements given in the number of reference book, that for cold rolling operation, the friction is up to 0.1, and if we neglect that friction, sometimes if the friction is neglected, approximation calculation of rolling force can be done by neglecting that particular friction, and directly my rolling force becomes, that is exactly equal to F average in the rolling force becomes exactly equal to the average flow stress Y bar F, that is already calculated, and that average pressure or average stress applied on the projected area, and projected area is nothing but the area that is shown there, that is B into L or W into L. So therefore I will say that W into L, and this is what exactly approximation formula by neglecting my friction. By what? Neglecting friction. When the friction is neglected, it is what? Neglected. Friction is neglected. This is approximation calculation. And if I solve that by this, F average is exactly equal to Y bar F. The Y bar F average flow stress value is calculated 159.4, something like that, 159.4 kilonewton. Width is 200, I guess. Is this 200? Yes, I think so. It's 200, and the length is 24.49. And if we calculate this particular by formula, the average rolling force or a rolling force is coming exactly equal to 780.74 kilonewton. And this is what exactly the answer. This is what exactly the answer which is falling in the range. What is the range? This is what exactly given by IIT, which means that what exactly they have considered? They have completely neglected the friction, and by calculating or completely by neglecting the friction, this is what exactly answer is calculated. But if we give on a friction, if it is given the friction in the problem, there is 100% cases that you should consider the friction while calculation. That means that we should challenge this question, and let's see that after the corrected keys is coming, let's see what happens. But we are going to challenge this. This is what exactly the dilemma question is. Answer should be 955.71, or range has to be increased, or what? Range has to be increased. That is what exactly we need to do. Right, fine. I hope so you are understanding both the cases. Right, fine. And there one more question is asked. It is just a play of units. That's it. You know the basic fundamental mechanical metal cutting operation, and if you know that, you will be able to solve it. In a grinding operation of the metal, the specific energy of consumption is 15 joule per millimeter cube. Joule per millimeter per minute. What is specific energy? Amount of energy required to remove unit volume of material. Unit volume, millimeter cube, centimeter cube. So this much amount of joule of energy required to remove unit volume of material. If a grinding wheel with a diameter of 200 millimeter is rotating at a 3000 rpm to obtain a material removal rate of 6000 millimeter cube per minute. So these values are given. Let's understand that. So I'll say that, sir, a specific energy is exactly equal to 15 joule per millimeter cube. Right, fine. If a grinding wheel with the diameter of the grinding wheel is exactly equal to 200 mm, it rotates an RPM n exactly equal to 3000 RPM. RPM stands for revolution per minute. To obtain the material removal rate, MRR is also given. MRR is exactly equal to 6000 millimeter cube per minute, 6000 millimeter cube per minute. Then the tangential force on the wheel is Newton. Tangential force is exactly equal to a cutting force he is asking us to calculate. Now, if I ask you the simple definition of specific energy, so I know the simple definition of specific energy. Unit, you just understand units. Specific energy is exactly equal to power divided by MRR. Specific energy is exactly equal to what? Power divided by MRR. Just pay the attention to the unit, right? Fine. If I say specific energy, what is the unit? Sir, joule per millimeter cube. Joule per millimeter cube. Okay, joule per millimeter cube. Power. Power is what? Joule per second. It's the power. Amount of energy consumed per second is the power. Watt. So I'll say that, sir. The power is joule per second. Joule per second. Great. Joule per second divided by material removal rate mm cube per second. Mm cube per second. This second will get cancel. If this second will get cancel, I'll get the unit joule per millimeter cube. Joule per millimeter cube. Are you accepting? Yes, sir. Specific energy is given in the problem. Material removal rate is also given in the problem. Power. What is power? Power is amount of energy consumed per second, that is cutting force, tangential force multiplied by cutting velocity. Therefore, I will say that sir, power is equal to Fc into Vc, Fc into Vc. So, I will say that Fc into Vc divided by MRR and specific energy. Sir, tangential force, that is cutting force, is given. Material removal rate is given. Specific energy is given. We are interested to calculate what? So, I am sorry, what is we are interested to calculate? We are interested to calculate tangential force, sorry. So, Fc we are interested to calculate, Vc must have been given in the problem, right? Fine. Is it okay? Yes. So, I will say that simply 15 joule per millimeter cube, it is given. So, I will write down here, this is 15 joule per millimeter cube, right? Tangential force, that is cutting force, we are interested to calculate. Now, the big question is, what is Vc? Vc is what exactly? Cutting velocity. It is given that grinding wheel has a diameter 200 millimeter and it rotates by the RPM 3000. It's RPM by which it's rotating. So, what is the cutting velocity? Can I say that whatever the circumferential velocity by which that wheel is rotating, that will be called as the velocity by which it is getting cut. So, can I say that, sir, this pi into d into n, that is exactly equal to Vc. So, therefore, I will simply say that Vc is exactly equal to what? Vc is exactly equal to pi into d into n, right? Now, units you have to take care, pi into d into n, that is what exactly a velocity Vc is. MRR is given. So, if I am interested to calculate this Vc, so I will directly say that pi into d into n, but need to understand that it has to be Newton into meter is joule per second. So, if it is required to be a Newton, and then it should be required to be meter. So, can I say that, sir, this unit has to be take care. If the diameter is given in millimeter, it has to be converted to meter, so divided by 1000. RPM is given in minute, it has to be converted to second, divided by 60. I hope so you are understanding this. Yes. And then divided by MRR, and I guess that MRR is given 6000 mm cube per minute. So, I will say that it is exactly equal to 6000 mm cube per minute per second divided by 60, that is mm cube per second. This is Newton to meter joule per second. Again, this second will get cancelled. Only unknown value is Fc, and if the only unknown value is Fc, so I will say that Fc is exactly equal to cutting force is coming exactly equal to 47.75 Newton. 47.75 Newton. So, this is what exactly answer is, 47.75 Newton value is there, and this is what exactly question is being asked. So, I will say that one more question is there, right? Fine. And this might be claimed anywhere. So, the question is, the loading and the unloading response of the metal is shown in the figure. The elastic and the plastic strains corresponding to 200 MPa stress respectively are. And this is what exactly a loading curve is given, this is the unloading curve, right? Fine. And the options are given in the problem. But while learning, we have to understand that this is actually a snapshot I have taken the classes that we already discussed. Whenever I load the body in a plastic deformation zone, that entire deformation takes place. Against that stress is always combination of elastic and plastic deformation. And if I release the load, unloading curve will follow parallel to proportionality limit, and whatever the elastic deformation is there in the body, it will get recover, relap. It is called as elastic recovery or a spring back action. And the body will settle to only a plastic deformation which is there in the body. And therefore, if this is the stress up to which material deforms, this is the stress up to which material is deformed. So, can I say that this is what exactly a stress value is? Magnitude of stress is there. It can be anything, right? Against this stress, this is the total deformation is there. Total strain is there. But that total strain, total deformation is combination of plastic plus elastic. Plastic plus elastic. And once I release the load, elastic deformation gets recovered. So, therefore, it was given here. This is what exactly I would say that the point is there up to which it is being stressed up to 200 MPa. So, against 200 MPa, what is the strain? So, total strain is exactly equal to 0.03. But when it is unloaded, can I say that this is the strain which will get recovered, and whatever it is getting recovered, it is nothing but called as my elastic recovery, elastic deformation. So, can I say that from the figure, elastic recovery is 0.03 minus 0.01, which is exactly equal to 0.02 is nothing but called as my elastic strain. What is this? This is nothing but my elastic strain. This is my strain. Which one? Elastic. E stands for elastic. And now it is settled here up to 0.1, which will be remain in the body. So, 0.01 will stands for plastic strain. So, epsilon P is exactly equal to 0.01. It is nothing but my plastic strain. It is nothing but my plastic strain. But understand sequence, elastic and plastic. So, elastic has to be first, elastic deformation 0.02, and then the plastic, that is 0.01, 0.02 and 0.01. I will say that delta D is correct answer for us. This is what exactly correct is. Elastic is 0.02 and the plastic is 0.01. So, I would say that these many number of questions was asked in a paper number 1, that is called as a forenoon session as far as production is concerned. Thank you.